All right, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October 12th PTA meeting for the general session here. So I'm Ken Balbuena, the PTA president for this year, for those who don't know me. So not much really to report here. In terms of the president's report, we are very excited to have our guest tonight, Ms. Jenkins, as well as Ms. Stephen. They're going to be talking about the virtual family science fair that's going to be coming up. A lot of the other stuff that really are updates for the PTA, are better said by the other members of the executive board here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn a lot of the meeting over to them and sort of fill in any gaps that we have. First thing we got, though, is the approval of minutes. So Lauren, I'm going to stop sharing my screen if you want to pull up the minutes, and we can just ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Sure. Oh, you disabled me, Ken.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me do that. Okay, should be good.
All right. So we will slowly try the slow scroll. So when you guys are ready, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting?
I motion.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Is it Jen?
Second.
Sounded like. All right. Is there a second?
I second. This is Amy.
Okay. Yeah. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed, say nay. All right. And the chair, the ayes have it. So it looks like right here. All righty, and let's see what do we have next on the agenda. All right, next we got the treasurer's report. Amy. Amy, you're muted.
I just realized that. Sorry about that. So for September, Ken was mentioning earlier before the meeting started that we did do very well with flocking this month, and in general. So since we started flocking in August, we've gotten $160 from flocking alone, which was great. It's almost half of our goal for the year. So I'm really happy with that. We've also are doing really well on membership. We've gotten, and the income is going to change on that. Well, the net will change just because coming up on November 1st is when all of the dues go to the Virginia PTA. So that the expenses will change soon because of that. Not on here. So they're not on here is the fundraiser that we just had this past Saturday at obviously because it was this past Saturday, but we raised $151 at Chipotle on Saturday night. So thank you to everybody who came out for that. And let's see, we have Beaver Blast Off. Are there any questions?
All right, Amy, overall, how are we looking? Sorry, I missed that. How are we looking in terms of income versus expenses for the year so far?
Let's see. Sorry, I was doing weird things. We're doing quite, sorry, my Zoom is being wonky. We're doing really well. Our biggest expense to date was Beaver Blast Off, but again, the flocking has been really lucrative, has been really good. And that Chipotle, again, which hasn't showed up on here. The Krispy Kreme fundraiser, we are still looking for folks to get some more, to buy some more gift certificates for donuts. If we are not able to make that happen, then we'll refund all the money. We have to have, I think it's 15 orders of donuts in order for that to happen. Are there any other questions?
All right. And then remind me, do we have to approve the treasurer's report, or do we just report on the treasurer's report?
We usually approve it.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Okay, just for purposes of the minutes, who was that? Is that Dan?
As
Sorry,
Dan-
Dan. Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, take your pick, Lauren. You want for that? All right. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? All right. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. Okay, yes. So we will resend some of the information about the donuts. It is on our Facebook page as well, but we'll definitely make sure that that goes out. I think it might have been in the last News You Choose, but we'll definitely make sure that that goes out. That was something that was in the chats. Okay, so next thing we got on the agenda here is a membership update. Dan, Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about sort of the membership push? And then if you need me to give some of the membership numbers, I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, hi, this is Dan. I'll do the report. We are still pushing out for the membership drive. It's going to be ending on October 29th, the Friday right before Halloween. Teachers, this is your chance to show your shine, and the class with the most will get an ice cream party, and the grade with the most membership signups will get a popcorn social. And the teachers will also be entered into a raffle for winning a $50 Amazon gift card. So anybody can join if you guys just don't mind sharing it off to everybody. I'm sharing it over to my buddies here at the fire station, to family members. Everybody can join. And if you have any questions, feel free to direct them towards me. And Ken, if you like, you can share some of the numbers. And we're looking forward to what we get out of it.
All right, so this spreadsheet here is a little messy, so don't worry about just this is the part that you want to pay attention to, is this stuff over here. So basically, looking at this, we've had we had a goal of 157 members, and a big part of our strategy is really trying to get 2-parent households. So not just one parent joining the PTA, but if you have multiple parents in the household, getting both of them to join. And we have a special incentive to do that. So it's $10 for an individual or $16 for the family. So we've got essentially 24 people have signed up under the family membership. 24 families, I should say, have signed up under the family membership, which then equates to 48 different members. We've had 23 teachers signed up, and then we've had 82 different individuals. So when you look at 82 people total is the number of members that we have. So that equates to 45 different families between the teachers and the the family memberships and those who have signed up as individuals. So I know it's a little messy spreadsheet. It makes sense to me. Probably doesn't make sense to anybody else who was looking at it if I were to be hit by a train. So but yeah, we have 45 different families, 82 total members. Now, when you look at it as compared to previous years, we were almost where we were 2 years ago, where we had 115 members. So we're at 82. And then for the teachers, we've had almost double the number of teachers join the PTA this year as we have in the past 2 years. So thank you so much, teachers. We really appreciate that. As Dan mentioned, we'll be having some different incentives for you to join. Jen, I don't know if you want to pull up a photo of, if you have a photo available of what you guys had set up over at the school. But if you haven't got a chance, as soon as you enter into the school, there's like a really cool little just visual for the teachers as a reminder that we are having these incentives for the teachers. But we are doing really well for membership. Again, our goal is 157, so we are more than halfway there. We have 75 left that we need to get before we hit our goal of 157. One small thing on the, I guess on the president's update, I am going to be working on applying for the National PTA School of Excellence program. They extended the membership or the application deadline until the 15th. And we do get some extra resources for that. As you know, we did a strategic plan. The board approved it, and there's somebody at the Northern Virginia District PTA who looked at the plan and said that this would be great to, apply for the National PTA program. So we're going to use our strategic plan as sort of a basis of applying for that School of Excellence. So we are pretty happy to do that. All right. Next thing we've got on the list, or Jen, did you want to say anything else about membership? You or Dan? No. Okay. Fundraising. Tiffany, you're up.
Just want to thank everyone for coming out for the Chipotle fundraising event. And as you all know, the flocking is ongoing. And we really need your help on the Krispy Kreme fundraising. We need at least 25 minimum orders so that we can place the order. So what it is $10 donation in exchange for an e-certificate for 1 dozen of Krispy Kreme donuts. That's all I have for now.
How many have we sold so far?
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll keep pushing that out. And just as a reminder to people that the donuts are not physically in person. We're not physically selling donuts per se. We are selling the certificates that you can go to any Krispy Kreme, in the closest one being the Alexandria one. And you can redeem it for a dozen free donuts, right, Tiffany?
A dozen, yeah.
Yeah, for each sale. So it is a digital certificate. It's, I guess, part of some of their safety protocols that they're doing. So we're not going to be selling donuts in person, although we could. I think Mr. McRae said that that's something that he got permission to do. So we could technically sell donuts if we wanted to, but this is just certificates. And there's no expiration date, I believe, correct, Tiffany?
No expiration date. Any Krispy Kreme. You can send it to your relative somewhere across the country as well, as long as there's a Krispy Kreme near them.
All right. So Krispy Kreme donuts for Christmas sounds pretty good, I think. All right.
It might be the only thing you can find on the shelves.
There you go. All right. Any other updates on fundraising?
No.
Okay. One quick thing, Mr. McRae, maybe we can talk about this later on, but with the Chipotle, while we definitely hit our goal of what we were trying to get for the minimum, compared to years past, we did not do as well as we had done in years past. And I know part of that is the Thursday folders. Since we're doing digital Thursday folders, is there a possibility we can print out flyers, or are we just getting away from print completely?
We've really tried to get away from it. What I'll do is I'll ask the teachers, because there is a way to sort of track who's opening their folders in their classrooms. So let me look to see, collect some data on how many people are, opening and checking that folder, because that would give us a good indicator as well.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that's a good transition over to you and Leslie for the admin updates.
I almost want to let Leslie go first, just because she's finally finishing testing. It's a celebration for her. We're kind of we're in that little bit of I dare say lull, but we're in between. We're finishing up testing. We've been collecting all kinds of data to try to start to get some baselines on our students, because we really don't have consistent data for 18, 20 months now. And as we are collecting and starting to interpret data and having data meetings, in a lot of respects, we're really excited that a lot of our kids are where they are. We recognize that there are gaps, and as a whole, there's we're slightly kind of probably behind where we would be in a normal year, but given all the kids have gone through in the last, let's just say 2 years, it's quite amazing that and what our teachers accomplished and parents together keeping our kids going, because you know, even the fall off we have is, I don't think it's nearly as great with the majority. About 80% of our kids are really doing pretty well. And I mean, that doesn't mean we still need to pull our bootstraps up and really dig hard on some of our kiddos, but that number is far below where we thought, you know, we might be once we really got some solid data. So we've been pleasantly surprised there. Our initiative with Ms. Jenkins and Ms. Steven to really push using the AP curriculum in all of the classrooms is really organically taking off. And I know they're going to talk a little bit more about that. So we've been pretty excited about that. We're starting to look for ways to, I don't know, do some fun things with school-wide, yet still maintain our protocols with COVID, whether it be kind of virtual assemblies within the classrooms or dividing things up primary and upper so we don't have as many kids. But we're kind of starting to think in that direction of, you know, making sure kids are having fun, and, you know, we still remember that school is a fun place to be, and we get to do some really exciting things. I think the virtual science night, you know, is a great little start, which is coming up on what that could be, or at least one tool that we could use to kind of start doing stuff like that. Leslie, please feel free to chime in, because at this point I'm now drawing official blank on my thought process. So
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I think Chad mentioned that, you know, we are closing in on a lot of assessments. COGAT is this week. So if you have a second or third grader, we are starting tomorrow. So we are testing tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. So please try to make sure your kids come to school if you have a second or third grader. In the event they're out sick or whatever, the testing window does extend through next week. So I will do retakes, and if they miss the window, being out sick or whatever it may be, they can be tested in the spring. If your third grader is already identified as a level 4 student, they will not be taking the COGAT. So Ms. Jenkins will be pulling them tomorrow. So that's just a heads up if anybody has kids in those situations. The only other thing I would add to what Mr. McRae was saying, we did some conversations yesterday with our staff, but I would say the biggest area of need, what we're seeing in our students, is social emotional wellness, meaning that kids haven't had a normal year of school. Some of our kids, you know, the last time they were in school, like we had this chart, like 5th graders, their last normal year of school was 2nd grade. So full year. So when you think about that and social emotional development, we are seeing some needs that we need to address with social emotional skills. So we've told our teachers to meet the kids where they are, because we really got to meet those social emotional needs to see the academic growth. So just so you guys are aware, you may be hearing stuff from your kids about some different things we're doing through morning meeting or different exercises we're doing, just to kind of help build that social emotional wellness within our kids. That's really a big area of focus for us right now. So that's just something as a FYI. And then the only other thing I was going to add was you will be getting all of this data at the end of first quarter with report cards. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, where am I going to get this data? What does it look like? You already had parent conferences. The official letters of most of these assessments will be coming in with report cards. So just be on the lookout for that.
yeah, and the other, with the social emotional piece, we're using a great book if anybody really wants to kind of see where we're taking a lot of our stuff is. It's Yardsticks. And you know, it would be it's a pretty quick read, but it does kind of put it in perspective, because there's a lot of example behaviors in there by age, and you can see, you know, that some of our kiddos have just missed out on, you know, the growth of learning how to work with peers or even follow directions and understand that, yeah, at home you can kind of do what you want, and, you know, there's no real expectations that you can't just get out of your seat and go walk somewhere. And so all these, even our first and second graders, that's where we're really noticing it, because they're the ones that you see the most growth in a year, yet they haven't had those structures in place. So there's a lot of reteaching going on there. And the other piece, we still are getting, we're kind of seem to be averaging about one COVID incident a week. All of our incidents so far, I think we're up to 6 positives, but none of them have been spread from student to student yet. I will say yet, because I'm sure at some point we'll experience that. But we continue to refine kind of some seating and how we're doing some things with the kids. We're going to be going over again some spacing stuff this week in our team meetings for some teams that wanted some extra conversations around that. But the kids are doing a tremendous job wearing their masks, and it's paying off. I mean, we really are not. We have it. It's there. It exists, but it's not spreading between student to student. It's usually coming student and they're getting it from a family member. However, that being said, there is a colds and flus going around, and I mean, we're probably averaging 6 or 7 kids that we're sending home a day for COVID-like symptoms, which equates to, I think we're up to 60 something, if I remember correctly, with that data, but not one of those students has tested positive. It's all been flu, cold, sinuses, allergies, just normal stuff that we would have in a normal year, which complicates it when you have to look at it through the COVID protocols. But all in all, the kids and the teachers are doing a tremendous job kind of keeping that all at bay. So I think that kind of wraps up what we got.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for that. Any questions for Chad or Leslie before we move on to the next item on the agenda? No? No questions? That might be a first. All right. Okay, let's see what we've got next on the list here. All right, next up, we've got the spelling bee. So I don't know if Karen's on or not yet, but I know Lauren's on. So if you two want to talk a little bit about the spelling bee.
Yeah, so we Zoomed with the spelling bee coordinator for Fairfax County last week. We can do it several ways, but the way she suggested for our first year was to basically do the older kids 3 to 5. So we can get our feet wet, see how it all works that way. We owe $175, I believe, by this Friday. So just want to make sure that's okay. And okay with administration that we go forward with it. We did talk to them about teacher involvement, and there are ways you can do some bees in the classroom, but we really didn't want to put more on the teachers. So we can actually act as the coordinators. We can get a couple of outside judges, or if teachers wanted to volunteer to be a judge or the pronouncer, that's great, but it would not be mandatory and the work on them would be minimal. We would just have to reserve space, maybe the gym in the evening one day, but we would look to hold it in February, with the winner going on to Fairfax County in March. It will either be, the county one will either be March 13th or 20th, I believe, were the dates she gave us. So we are looking good. And then next year, if we wanted to do a junior B, we could do a junior B with the kindergarten to second, and then the older kids separately.
Hey, Lauren, is that by grade level, or is that just as a whole school?
It's as a whole school, which is why she suggested this year we don't do the little people, since we haven't done it before. With the older kids, what she recommends is we normally kind of in the initial rounds, make sure the younger grades go first, so they're getting the easier words and are not automatically disqualified. And then of course that tends to get mixed up as you progress through the different rounds.
If I remember
Explain a
correct,
little-
go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead,
I'm
Rick.
just wondering a little if we could explain like how it would work if it's an evening event. Do we invite the whole school? Do we do like mini rounds? Like when we did geography B before, we did like small rounds within the class and then like the top came to the big school. So how does that part work?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yeah, so usually she said what they do is they invite, I think, just families, especially in a COVID world. And then people tend to leave as their kid gets eliminated. We do have the option for some online programming. So if we wanted to do some initial rounds online, we could do that if participation was so great. If like, you know, every third, fourth, and fifth grader wanted to do it and we couldn't have that many people together, we could do some smaller rounds, either in person or online to kind of narrow it down and then just do the top whatever in person. So we have a lot of options and flexibility there.
Cool.
I kind of like the idea of almost breaking it down by class, then grade level, and then bringing a certain number from each grade level to the championship round, but that might be pretty cool.
I think our people are excited for community events, right? So I think that with any community event we have in person, I imagine we're going to get a lot of people interested. I could be wrong, but I have a hunch that that's, you know, people are looking for that, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, we're open to do it during the day too. I think just from a scholastic standpoint, they normally just do it not to interrupt the day because it can go on for a little bit depending on how many kids.
Cool.
And just for, I guess, everybody out there, this is part of the Scripps National Spelling Bee program. So I guess, how does that work with feeding up to the national side?
That part, I don't know. We got as far as county level, and then I believe it goes state, but I can get more details on that.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so this is exciting. And I know that there's, you know, my wife wants to help out with that, and I'm sure that there are other people who want to help out. Do we have a time frame of when we're looking at for this?
We would probably want to do either late January, early February to give the winner enough time to study for the March county one.
Okay. All right. And I was messaging Amy on the side here. It does not look like that we have budgeted for this. Where would be an appropriate budget item or a budget line item for this? And we should probably get membership approval just to throw it in there into the budget. Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot on that one now, Amy.
Yeah, I'm looking at our would that be considered enrichment?
I don't know.
I would certainly call it enrichment.
So come from our winter enrichment.
Okay, let's see. Let me pull this up here.
We have $500 budgeted for winter enrichment.
Okay. So where are we? Okay, so winter enrichment 500. Okay, so it could, yeah, so it could technically, it could fall under the enrichment subsidy, although the intent of enrichment really is for like some of the classes, but
Right.
Our bylaws do allow us to go $300 over the budgeted amount, so we can still fully fund that, you know, as well, even with the $175 on there. All right, so if there are no objections, we will then expend the $175 fee to join this program through the enrichment line item. Karen, since you're logged on now, is there anything briefly you want to add about the spelling bee? Lauren kind of covered a lot of it. You're on mute still.
Sorry, I'm assuming Lauren probably covered all the important things, so I trust her to have covered it.
All right, sounds good. Okay, and I think one of the big things that we'll have on the spelling bee is how do you spell Karen's last name?
Yes, that should be the final question.
There you go. All right, sounds good. Okay, anything else on the spelling bee before we move on to our next agenda item? No. Okay. All right. Teacher grants, Jen. Is that anything you would be able to talk about the teacher grants?
Oh yeah, sure. We host we offer mini grants to teachers and staff every fall and spring. We are currently accepting applications, and the deadline for that will be, I think, at the end of October. I'm trying to work on being a little bit more consistent on a hard deadline and reporting the awards. But so far, we've had a few requests, a couple from 3rd grade for more items for classroom library. The ESOL team is looking to get a subscription for video content that they use for their students. They have actually been paying for it on their own. So this is something that we could definitely help with. And Mrs. Stephen has submitted a request for OzoBots, which is primary coding for the 1st and 2nd grades. We're so excited for her and in her new role, and we're happy about the opportunities to support her in those endeavors. But so far, so good. We're gonna push out reminders. Just a little bit of context, we offered a survey just to kind of see how we can just overall improve things. So we did kick out an electronic form, so it'll be less, so that it serves less administrative burden on the teachers and staff. So I think that has helped. We've also improved our communication on what we can help with, because that just wasn't clear in the past as well. So we hear you. We are working on continually improving. So that about wraps up the teacher grant update.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, if you can encourage your fellow teachers to apply for those, that would be great. Or if you just want to keep all the money for yourself, don't encourage them to apply. So, all right. But yes, please encourage them to apply. All right. So next thing we got here is just a committee report. So are there any other updates from the other officers that you want to share before we move on to talking about Family Science Night? No, what's this question here? All right, somebody put here, some teachers put books and other items in their Amazon wish list. Any way to get that slightly earlier before the holidays? I don't know if anybody can respond to that.
Yeah, I think so. We have a spreadsheet called Taste and Tidbits where teachers provided that information from last year. PTA is happy to reach out to them again and ask for updates, and we'll provide that through email and update that on our website as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, so October 28th, we are very excited that we're going to be having the virtual Family Science Night that actually grew out of a grant request from last year, and we had to apply for that. Ms. Jenkins filled out the application for it, and we were selected, so we're very excited for that. So congratulations, Ms. Jenkins. So with that said, I'm going to turn the floor over to both Ms. Jenkins as well as Ms. Stephen and talk a little bit about Family Science Night on Thursday, October 28th.
Okay, I think I'm up first. Thanks, Ken. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what's actually involved in STEAM, because some people are not quite clear what it's all about. The STEAM Lab stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And it's an area in which the kids are, in a normal year, would be coming in and doing activities in all of those areas in order to encourage them to go into STEAM-based careers. However, this year, it's more than that. It's that, but it's also an area where the kids are supposed to come and have fun. We've been talking about their social and emotional mental health, their well-being. The kids love coming in because they get to build stuff, they get to make things, and they get to experience those fun things with no tests, no grades. There's not even any deadlines. We can do projects at our own rate, and the kids just are thoroughly excited about it. They can't wait to come in. And I am super pleased with STEAM this year. And I wanted to thank Mrs. Jenkins for getting me started. I came into this position right before school started and got up and running very quickly thanks to her help. She's going to talk to you more about what Science Night has looked like in the past, because I've never been involved before. But I just want to encourage you all to really play this up, because it's such a neat opportunity for our kids to talk to some real scientists and get some ideas of things that they can do from people other than me. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Jenkins now so she can tell you more.
Thank you, Ms. Stephen. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, PTA, for giving us the money so that we could have this amazing event. It was quite a wonderful surprise to even be selected. It is a little challenge to get selected. I mean, the first time we had Children's Science Center come to visit us in person, it took about 4 to 5 years before I could even get them to come in. And that's because they have so many applications throughout Fairfax County, and they largely usually accept about 50%, I was told by them, Title I schools. So with that being said, for us to have even been invited or have this event twice within, I would say it was like 4 years ago, because I think Ms. Mikowski had just gotten here. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So I sort of put it out there that it was going to happen, and I just let it go, and it happened. So I was really geeked up last June when I found out. So in the past, of course, we've been in person. So this year it's a little trickier because, well, we're all virtual all over the place, right? So I did select for us to be virtual because I didn't know where we would stand for this fall. And I thought that it might be a best idea for us to just stay virtual. They have had virtual events. I'm not really certain what they look like because I don't see any like recordings and things of that nature on, I don't think on the website, but nonetheless, we have been promised that it's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive, that the kids will have, you know, an enjoyable time. Families, it is 1 hour as opposed to in person, it would have been 2, but definitely, you know, we want to, you know, limit the screen time anyway. So 1 hour would probably be good enough. So you would want to log on at 7 o'clock, probably sharp. The details in regards to logging on and all that kind of information will be forthcoming. I'm assuming that Children's Science Center is going to give us a Zoom link and we could just send it out to the school. So be on the lookout for that. And the kids always love the event. I wrote down a few notes that, they taught subject areas. They had lots of topics. Like I know when we did it in person, it was like energy and engineering and sound and learning about animals and they're young, all sorts of things that will support our standards of learning that we teach in the elementary school level. So it's a great opportunity for all kids to come out and join us. We're really excited about it. And we just hope that you join us on Thursday, October the 28th from 7 to 8 p.m. Be on the lookout. We're going to send out information, Ms. Stephen and I, in the Thursday folder that will be virtual. So I don't know, maybe, and then we're getting teachers involved, and we had some other fun stuff that Ms. Stephen and I had talked about in regards to some sort of promotion with some sort of interest for the students. So but we don't want to share too many details because we will just wait. We will be announcing on School News and all sorts of cool stuff. So thank you so much again for funding our event, and we look forward to having an amazing time.
Ms. Jenkins, do you know, maybe that's something that they'll share, is if like parents need to have any like supplies ready or things like within their home?
I asked that exact same question back in August, and they said no.
Okay.
That's what they said, because I said, you know, if we need supplies, let me know now. And she said, no, they don't need anything. And I was like, this is going to be interesting. So, yeah, because that was the number one thought. I thought, well, gosh, if they're doing science, but I know that there are ways to still learn, right? So we're getting creative. Our kids learned last school year virtually. So
Cool.
yeah. So I'm getting ready to hop off because I have to go run an errand. But if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at hkjenkins@fcps.edu or Ms. Stephen as well. And I just look forward to having such a wonderful event. It's going to be exciting.
Alrighty. So, well, yeah, we're very excited about that. You know, it's going to be definitely a great event, and you know, yeah, a lot of Zoom has been working very well, and virtual learning has been working very well in terms of some of the things that you can do. So hopefully they can reach more people, you know, by doing this virtually than they can if they were coming in person. Amy, did you want to add something about Family Science Night?
Oh, so I just there was a question about Amazon wish lists, and I wanted to clarify that PTA, that some teachers, not all, have wish lists on Amazon of things that they would like for their classrooms, and that the link to that is often in the Taste and Tidbits spreadsheet, which is a spreadsheet that has not only an Amazon wish list if they have one, but also, thank you, Ms. Jenkins, also has like favorite color, favorite place to eat, and all sorts of other information that's often asked for around the holidays or at the end of the year. No obligation to do anything like that, but just so you know what that is.
All right.
Thanks, Miss Stephen.
Thank you, Miss Stephen, and thank you, Miss Jenkins. And I think you already signed off, but you know, we are also going to be hopefully you know, collecting some donations for Family Science Night.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to be asking for $5 donations because it is going to be something that's completely free for everybody in this entire school to take advantage of, to you know, to really just seek this opportunity out. So we hope that you know, just a small thank you. You know, we might be willing to do like a quick $5 donation. So we'll have something set up in advance for that when it comes time for the event. All right. So I think that's all I've really got. We've got on the agenda here. You know, before we sort of head out and, you know, maybe take some final questions here, I just do want to launch a poll. You know, Chad had mentioned about maybe making all of the meetings virtually. So since we have about 19 participants on, let's launch the poll really quickly. So should we continue holding the meetings, you know, virtually, or should we look at a hybrid format where we'd be meeting in the library, launching it on Zoom, and then just having in person as well as virtual? So we got 6 answers so far, 9 answers, 10. Apparently there's a countdown on this, so you got 27 seconds. No, it's counting up. Okay. Anybody else want to cast a vote? Anybody else? All right. We got
Very
60.
suspenseful.
Yeah, can you all see the results, or is that just me?
Just you.
Okay. So we had 16 votes, and meeting virtually won by a margin of 2-1. So looks like we've got our answer that we will be meeting virtually then. Okay. I'll have to let Miss Dallas know. All right. Any questions that anybody has for any of us, or for the, you know, for Chad, Leslie, for the PTA officers, before we ask for a motion of unanimous consent to adjourn for the evening? This is a quick meeting tonight.
I move to adjourn.
All right.
I second.
All righty. So if there are no objections, then we will adjourn for the evening. So thank you all so much for joining us. We hope to see you on October 28th virtually. And then our next PTA meeting is going to be on November the 9th. So thank you all so much for joining, and have a great evening.
Bye.